G'day everybody, welcome back to the semi-finals episode of the EveryWei podcast. As usual, I am Everyday. With me is Yulwei. How are you, man?
Hello. Yeah, it's getting closer and closer, right? I was a little bit in a
Yep.
little bit of a post quarterfinal depression on Monday through Wednesday. Honestly, didn't quite
Yeah.
do anything. Like I was just sitting there waiting for Worlds to finally come back. Oh
It
man.
feels so weird, right? We've had so much league recently with all the worlds, and now it's just like, oh,
By the
now
way,
there's a week without it.
I still think the current quarterfinal format is shit. Why do you play two best of fives on one day? It's so ridiculous. What the fuck?
Wait, so what would you have? One best of five?
Yeah,
And do
please.
it over
Just
4
give me four
days?
four days of league. It's way better than 2 days of way
Oh,
too much league.
I guess.
I
I think,
think back to last year. We had 10 hours of best of fives. I mean, it's
I
hype,
mean,
but it's
yeah,
also a little bit.
if
You
they
get a
go to
little bit
five,
fatigued.
yeah, that's true. I mean, I really wanted to watch 𝘀𝗶𝗃𝗀𝗀 versus G2. Obviously, that series was great. But I ended up having to stay up till like 5 a.m.
Yeah,
It's like, okay, I could have done with this being on a different day.
yeah. It's great for Europeans
Uh,
this year, but that's another good
I mean,
argument to only do one a day, because you
yeah,
can kind of coordinate one series to be kind of okay for everyone, right? Maybe
yeah. I
not
mean,
quite for
typically,
everyone, but two is impossible for everyone. Two is
yeah,
just.
yeah. You're completely right. But format and timing issues aside, I think it was a really good set of quarterfinals. I don't want to go too deeply into them. I'm just going to put it out there. It's going to be a little bit of a shorter episode today. I've got to go get a bus, so we don't quite have our normal hour, but it should be close enough to that. But yeah, I think the quarterfinals were really good.
The quarterfinals
Most of them.
were surprising, that's for sure. Some very
Yeah, I
good
mean,
games, some shitter games. I really like to watch the meta evolve on both sides of the
yeah,
bracket, because I think we saw kind of the two sides of the coin. One very Korean side of the bracket with 𝘀liche G2 ending up playing very similarly in terms of meta and better read, with
yep,
a dumb one on their side as well. And then the more Chinese side of the bracket with IG and FPX, obviously they won their series as well. FPX Fnatic had a very distinct meta. By the way, Fnatic, what did he
yeah.
do? What?
Fnatic really dropped the ball.
Ugh.
That was not much fun. I
Depressing to
mean,
watch. Depressing to
there are
watch.
some. I mean, I find it funny the 𝘁cie quote really coming back to bite him, saying 𝘁𝘀𝗵𝗋's one of the worst mid laners in the tournament,
Yeah, some interesting
which
stuff
I
dropped.
think has to. I think that has to be one of the most ridiculous quotes I've ever heard.
I
Um,
can kind of see where he's coming from. I think it's
I don't. I
his
like one
𝘁𝘀𝗵𝗋
of
looks better than he is because of the twice. I think if you ban,
okay, but I feel like saying he's one of the worst still in the tournament, like as of
hmm,
quarterfinals, that's fair.
yeah,
But saying he's like really like one of the worst in the group stages, no.
yeah, it's not like he's
He's
bad, right?
definitely exactly like I think to be one of the worst, you probably have to be bottom three. Yeah, okay. Name like you'd have to name a lot of people that are better than him.
Yeah, I think Nemesis shouldn't have said this publicly, because I can kind of see
Yeah, I
why
mean
he
in the
thinks this
end,
way, and I kind of understand his standpoint. I think he goes off laning, he knows a lot from scrims, he knows a lot from
that's
playing
true.
those players in solo queue. I think he talks a lot about things normal viewers and even experts can't really see. And this is one time where I actually agree with people like LS a lot, because this is just very unfortunate for. I think Nemesis still made a mistake of saying this.
Yeah, I mean, I
I'm.
will say, I will say that even though I heavily disagree with him, I'm down for some hot takes out of players.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't like players like having to be kind of afraid because they'll get flamed if they're if the results based analysts come in and go, oh, you said he's terrible but he beat you, ha ha ha. It's like, okay, but that's results based thinking.
So to not talk about quarterfinals too much, I
Yeah,
just want
sorry,
to
I
hear.
didn't wa- I
No. I
didn't wanna fully
didn't want
derail.
to. Just wanted to ask you if you had to rank in terms of enjoyment, which quarterfinals would be, or what would the rankings be for the quarterfinal series?
Um, I think the G2 versus 𝘀𝘀 would be number one.
Yeah, same.
That series was great. Plus, I really like G2, and I really dislike 𝘀𝘀. Not again. I hope people, because I know I've mentioned in the Vietnamese Discord and stuff. I don't dislike the players as people. I'm sure they're lovely, but I dislike their play style, and I want to have a villain because that's fun.
Yep.
Having a villain is fun. So I really enjoyed that. Not the FPX series, the Griffin series was really interesting to see. And I mean, the other two were kind of a bit of a wash.
Yep.
Because
So,
𝘀𝗀𝗃 just sort of ran over 𝘁𝘀 that one game. They clearly didn't care. Like, some people are saying, like, oh, they brought in 𝘁𝘀, they actually wanted him to play. No, they wanted him to get a skin if they win.
Yeah.
Let's be totally real here. 𝘁𝘀, like, they're never going to play 𝘁𝘀 in a game that matters.
And to be honest, he didn't play too badly. It wasn't his
No, he
fault his
didn't.
team failed. 𝘀𝗃𝗃 just
No,
completely
of course
dropped
not,
the ball.
but they picked a team comp that
Yeah,
was
the team comp.
basically
Oh, man.
let's give 𝘁𝘀 like he's a dog that's got cancer. Let's give him the best day out where he can eat a burger and all that before we send him to the farm. Let him play Thresh with the 𝘀𝗀 combo that looks really cool and stuff. Like, that was obviously what they were doing, and that's fine.
I'd still
they were
say
against 𝘁𝘀.
I'd still say I enjoyed this 𝘁𝘀 SKT series more than I did the Fnatic FPX series. Obviously,
Yeah, I'd agree
I'm
with that.
biased towards the European teams, but Fnatic just disappointed me so much because they didn't play up to their standard.
They were very, very bad. It was very disappointing to watch.
Yeah.
I don't want to go super in depth on the quarterfinal, and I think to break down everything that went wrong with Fnatic, we'd have to go in depth. So we might just have to leave it at they did badly.
I want to touch one point, not so much
ahead.
about the quarterfinal itself, but more of the community reaction, because I watched different podcasts and everyone seems to be praising FPX for their performance. Everyone is like, oh, they played such a clean game. I was very surprised hearing that, because for me, FPX didn't play bad. So I want to preface this by saying they definitely didn't play badly, and this was an impressive showing for them, kind of.
Yep.
But they mostly won off Fnatic doing dumb shit, in my opinion, especially in game 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And the one game
FPX
Fnatic actually showed up, they stomped FPX, so I'm not sure where all the praise is coming from.
I mean, in the end, it didn't take... whether or not you think FPX played super, super well or very average, it didn't take a super good team to beat Fnatic on
No.
Like, they could have played reasonably badly, and they probably still would have beaten that Fnatic. Because,
those dives.
look bad.
Oh my god. They tilted me so much. Oh man.
There was some serious issues going on. I don't know what happened in the Fnatic camp. I do think the way FPX performed does give me hope that their semi-final will be a lot of fun. Moving a little bit on to semis, maybe a little bit premature. I think their semi-final is actually pretty hard to call.
That's interesting. Oh, well, that's interesting. Okay, we might disagree on that one.
Okay.
Yeah. I think both semifinals are not easy to call. I think IG FPX definitely is more easy to call for me.
I would agree with that. G2 versus 𝘀𝗃 is so hard.
Even though I'm pretty confident in G2, but that's also the fandom speaking.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say it's G2, but it's very close.
Yeah. Now, for me, from what I've seen from FPX so far in this tournament, and I don't like to judge them of their domestic performance, especially not. The one argument that tilted me the most the last week was they are the first seed, so they win against all the LPL teams. That's such a bullshit narrative. Like
That's complete.
even
That's
if you
not
look,
how that works.
even if you look at historic results at Worlds, that doesn't hold up. Like
No, of course it
Samsung
doesn't.
won as a third seed against 𝘀𝘀 3-0 in quarters 2017. We had EDG actually being knocked out by the third seed, Royal at 2014. So there have been multiple first seed teams being knocked out by their domestic opponents they won against all year. So that storyline just doesn't really exist to me. And also,
Yeah, I
IG's
mean,
form is
that
very
said-
different.
Yeah, exactly. That's very, very true. I mean, that said, I still think FPX is a very good team.
Yeah,
But I definitely don't like the narrative, well, they won LPL, therefore they smash IG. Also, in this particular case, if they almost had that unbeaten run in the LPL, except they lost to IG.
indeed, indeed.
IG is the team that beat them, so... I mean, we can transition this into talking about this first semi-final, obviously.
Absolutely.
I think it's really hard to call how this one goes, especially even just in terms of meta reads and stuff. Obviously, for the side of IG, it is largely going to be on the solo laners to win it.
As always.
Yeah, I mean, hardly a controversial opinion to say IG solo laners are important, but I think that can be a weakness, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah, again, I'm hardly making hot takes.
I think one thing that's
They're
very
just so
interesting
good.
in this matchup is IG is the team that is worse than the sum of their parts, while FPX is actually the team that is better than the sum of their parts.
I think
IG's
that's-
parts, I don't think anyone will argue this, are in the sum better than FPX's. Right? They
I
have
think
the
you'd be
Shy.
very foolish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Even
think
Ning
you'd
is
have
not
to be
that
quite
bad.
foolish.
So it's
No,
actually
I mean, Ning when he's on.
yeah, he's on.
Ning's a super aggressive player. If he gets an early lead, he wins you the game.
Yeah. He's actually so much fun to watch.
Some people will call it he's a coin flip player because it's obviously luck depending on whether he turns up or not.
Your most hated phrase.
It's rubbish.
Yeah,
He's
I
an
know.
aggressive player, and sometimes aggression doesn't pay off. But regardless, I completely agree. I think the team cohesion for FPX is much better than IG. But I think IG just has better players. Like 𝘀cie and the Shy are just so good.
Yeah, and I've read a few articles as well, and some people say there's a mismatch in mid lane in favor of FPX, and that's something I really can't understand. What?
No, I don't think
What
that's
games
right
have they watched? I mean, 𝘀𝘀 has
Yeah,
had an
that's
amazing
ridiculous.
quarterfinals, but 𝘀cie was insane as well, right? He had one very
Yeah.
bad 𝘁𝗀 game. That was the game Griffin won, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, it doesn't matter if he had one bad game.
And 𝘀𝘀 had
𝘀𝘀
some
is not-
sketchy games as well on group stages, so whatever.
Yeah, I mean, one thing to comment on with 𝘀𝘀 is a lot of people are saying like, oh, don't bother banning out the Rise because he'll just bring out his dark technologies. That's better than him being on Rise. Rise is broken. He can pull out dark technology, and I'm sure he'll still have a good impact. You're not going to eliminate 𝘀𝘀 from the game by banning Rise. But ban Rise, please. He's so strong.
Yeah. And
Please ban Rise.
also, think about the carry threats on FPX. If you force 𝘀𝘀 on a tank, because most of his dark technology champs are tanks, right? Or at least very tanky
Yeah.
champs that can't carry the late game fights. Who's actually dealing damage? You don't want 𝘁𝗀 in a carry versus carry fight against the Shy. That's not a good idea.
Oh,
So you
good
have to
God,
rely
that's,
on you rely on 𝘀�UE again, right? And I
Yep.
mean that's the strategy they were going for most of LPL, but it hasn't really worked out too great in Worlds. So I'm not sure if they can go for this.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either. I think, especially 𝘀𝑥 is a little bit inconsistent sometimes. He makes some very interesting decisions, and I don't know if you can just trust him to hard carry the way like a 𝘀𝘀 Rise can.
Yeah. So I think
I mean,
this
it's worth keeping in mind that it's not only is it Rise, it's 𝘀𝘀𝗺's Rise. Like, he's really good at that champion.
Yeah. I think this series depends a lot on the side lanes. In my opinion,
Yeah,
even
absolutely.
though 𝘀�UE traditionally has had 𝘀𝘀𝗺's number in the LPL, I think 𝘀𝘀𝗺 has enough secret champs that he can dodge lane with against 𝘀�UE, because that is actually what most of his champs are for, right? He looks for unusual matchups to skip laning phase against better laning players like 𝘀�UE.
Yeah.
I think he will.
Yeah, I mean, which, to be fair, is a good strategy.
Yeah, I mean, if you can make it work, he has made a career out
Yeah.
of this. So, all
If you're outclassed in lane, get out of the lane.
yeah, credit to him. He's a very good player while not being the best laner. So I think that will happen
Yeah.
again in mid lane, and then top lane, obviously, the 𝘁 will just stomp 𝘁𝗀𝗰.
Yeah,
So I
that's
think
not going to be close.
bot lane might just be the most important lane for FPX. If FPX can't win bot lane, I think they can't really win the games, in my opinion. At least
Yeah,
not
I
off
think
of
that's-
their own aggression. Maybe if IG does too many mistakes, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think banking on mistakes is ever smart, though.
I mean, against IG it is.
You're not wrong. They are going to make a few errors, no doubt. That's IG. But yeah, I think you're completely correct that it's going to come down largely to the bot lane. Just because I don't think there's much you can do if you're FPX. Like, what do? You can't get 𝘀𝘀𝗺 to win a lane against 𝘀�UE unless he gets Rise. Maybe he wins a lane on Rise. Even then,
it's more about late game, yeah.
exactly. Like, it's not really about lane. And there is not a champion in the game that 𝘁𝗀𝗆 wins lane against the 𝘁 on. He can pick any champion he wants. It's not going to happen.
Just to quickly get your opinion on 𝘁𝗀𝗆. What do you think about 𝘁𝗀𝗆 so far this Worlds? Because I've heard so many different takes on 𝘁𝗀𝗆.
I would have to go back and watch some of their games a little bit closer. Because I didn't watch much LPL. But yeah, I think he's been okay.
I've actually been
You know.
very underwhelmed with 𝘁𝗀𝗆. I'm not sure he's that
Yeah?
much better than Sword, to be honest. He got...
Thanks.
Yeah? I mean, 𝘀𝗺𝗺 dumpstered him in lane multiple times.
That's true.
On matchups
Yeah,
he
that's
shouldn't
true.
win lane with. And 𝘀𝗺𝗺 is not as good mechanically, he's a very good laner, but not as good as the other 𝘁. So I'm very scared for top
Oh,
lane.
I mean, I think 𝘁𝗀𝗆 will be absolutely ruined by the 𝘁.
As everyone will be.
Like, he will be absolutely destroyed. That's not in question. I think I think top lane's in a very interesting place and has been all season because
Oh, that's
tanks
top lane.
kind of suck.
Yeah.
Tanks kind of suck, right? You can pretty much play Ornn.
On is
Ornn's
OP
good.
though.
I like her. Yeah, but Ornn gets banned. Like, if you pick Ornn in game 1 of the best of 5 and have a good performance, they'll just ban it.
I don't think either team can play on, to be honest. Did they play on
Yeah?
before? I don't think the Chinese teams have prioritized on at all this tournament, so would be surprised to
Yeah,
see
I
them
mean,
play
you're not wrong.
play the on. But that said, they
Yeah,
scrim
but
𝘀𝑺 and
what I-
G2, right? And they will probably play
Yeah.
on, so yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm sort of getting at is that since tanks kind of suck in the top lane, just because this season, right? You'd love to just be able to say to 𝘁𝗀𝗆, look, you're going to lose lane, have 𝘁 on, have a tank, whatever, just go chill, right? But you can't really do that at the moment, and that really exacerbates the issue with the weak top laner. Like, who can you pick? Gangplank? Basically it.
I mean, even then, I think Gangplank is punishable.
Yeah,
definitely.
exactly. It's not good.
Tanks for top lane are actually a very interesting topic. I shouldn't get into because of the amount of time we have today, but I think tanks in the top lane are viable if you counterpick them. Them as a
tanks?
counterpick. Poppy can work as a counterpick.
Poppy, yeah, I'll give you
Cho'Gath,
Poppy.
Cho'Gath can work as a counterpick.
Okay.
Even Sion can
Then
get through some lanes, and then obviously on. So I think there are some
Ornn-
tank
Ornn.
options that are actually playable, but you can't blind pick them. Maybe you can blind pick
Yeah.
Ornn. Maybe. You sacrifice laning phase if
Not
you blind
against
pick
the
on,
Shy.
but yeah,
Not
yeah.
against the Shy.
Not a good idea, no.
But yeah, I think... I mean, something also to get to is, what's your actual prediction for this one? It's hard. This one's hard.
I mean, I'm definitely predicting IG to win. I'm not sure on the score, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they should win 3-0, but I'm not going to predict 3-0 for IG, because they are IG and will throw at least one game randomly. I think...
I mean, the fact that
I'm
you
very
think
convinced.
it's a 3-0.
Yeah, I'm very convinced IG is a very bad matchup for
I mean,
FPX.
I was going to say, if I'd spoken first, I was going to say 3-2 to IG.
Interesting. Okay.
I think it's close.
I just don't
think
see
it's
many win
very
conditions
close.
for FPX. As I said before, I don't think bot lane is better than IG's at all. I think 𝘀cie𝗰𝗶𝗹𝗀 is way better than 𝘀𝘀, but 𝘚cie𝗹𝗹𝗀 and 𝘁𝗃𝗯𝗃 have both been kind of iffy this tournament.
I mean, slight segue while you think. Did you see the 𝗀𝗃𝗯𝗃 incident?
The Jack.
That got on Reddit?
Oh, wow, yeah. He
yeah,
didn't look
but
great
did you
there.
see? Well, I mean, look, I'm not going to say whether or not he should be punished or whatever. Ignoring that, but did you see what they put on Twitter? He was having a normal. He was having a normal Summoner's Rift experience. Oh, it's 1 month of EU West. Look what it'll do to a man.
Yep.
It's so accurate. It's so accurate. I had someone follow me around my jungle, smiting my camps just today.
Great. It sounds like
That
a lot
was
of
really
fun.
But yeah, anyway, we won't go into that. That was just a very funny Twitter post.
Why do you think it's close? What do you
because
think?
It's IG. Because I think IG will int a couple games.
Okay.
And I think FPX is good enough to pick up the spaghetti when
They definitely
IG drops
are.
it.
They definitely are.
Yeah, like I think as soon as IG starts faltering, FPX will push them over.
Yeah.
I think as soon as they start wobbling, they'll get toppled. And if you have to play you have to play really, really perfectly. IG sometimes doesn't, even though they have great players. They still sometimes just do things that don't quite make a lot of sense. And FPX will take that inch and make it a mile.
Yep.
That's why I think it's close. I think in the end, IG is a better team, and I agree with you that FPX will struggle to create their own win conditions, which is bad, obviously. But that's why I think it's close.
Yeah, for me it's just very difficult to imagine the game FPX wins, because the game will start after 10 minutes. You'll have at least 20 CS advantage top lane, maybe 40 even with a few plates, so 1,000 gold lead in the top lane. You'll have even bot lane probably, and rookies 20 CS up, maybe a kill in the jungle early on. So we're at 1.5, 2k gold lead for IG after 10, 15 minutes. And I think the only way FPX can break through this laning disadvantage is hard focusing bot lane, maybe with dives. But that should be something IG expects, because they know how 𝘚𝑥 likes to play and how FPX as a whole like to focus their resources. So IG should know what's coming. So I just don't really see how FPX wins games if not for IG ending, and that can happen 2 times, maybe even 3 times. I don't really think that's likely, but yeah. That's why the prediction game is very difficult, because I think if both teams play like they should play in a semifinal, I don't see FPX taking a game. But it's IG, and that's why I'll predict 3-1 IG.
Okay, well, I'm going to predict 3-2 IG. I think your reasoning is solid, though. I just think IG will falter in 2 games instead. It's not very solid. It's just a feeling. Unless you have anything more to say about that semi-final, I really want to talk about the other one. I think one of the better semi-finals we've had.
Just a little bit of narrative there. Who do you want to win in this semi-final?
Of the LPL?
Yeah, the LPL semi-final.
IG. I want IG to win, narrative-wise. I want them to try and defend their title.
Yeah.
I love, like, defending your belt being the final boss, especially because obviously I want G2 to win the other semi. I also think they will, but we'll get into that. I want G2 to do it, and I want the reigning world champs, an Asian reigning world champ, to be the West's final boss.
Yeah.
I'd have rathered it was SKT, but the fixture didn't work out like that.
Yeah.
I'd have rathered it was an SKT G2 final.
I think IG-G2 has to happen. We wanted to see it at MSI. We will now want to see it at Worlds as well. Just for the sake of G2 winning, I think FPX would be the easier opponent in finals.
I agree.
But IG
in
is
terms
way
of narrative,
cooler. It's way
I want
cooler to
IG.
see IG. Yeah, I agree.
Exactly. And also, I mean, FPX, not commenting on the quality of their players or anything like that, they don't really have much history behind their org, their new org. Not as much fun.
Yep.
Get IG in there, get the reigning world champs. But now, moving on to the second semi-final, SKT versus G2, I'd say the two best teams in the world.
Oh,
Pretty
it's
clearly?
so hard to judge. Probably.
I mean, do you really think there's competition?
Yeah,
Who would
IG.
you put it? Who else?
I think people are still
I
sleeping
think
on IG.
SKT. I would agree that even I'm a little bit sleeping on IG. I think SKT is clearly top 2, and G2, when they play well, is very clearly top 1.
Yeah, I think.
So when they play okay, they're probably number 2.
Yeah. I think when G2 plays on their highest potential, if they hit their ceiling, I'm not sure if we've ever seen them hit their ceiling yet. Maybe at MSI
Game 4
finals.
against 𝘀𝘀?
Yeah, that was very good.
Game 4 against 𝘀𝘀? That was a sick game.
Then I don't
Ridiculous.
think anyone can beat them, but yeah, I think IG always has the X factor of having the best laner in League of Legends, playing for them
I
in
would
top
agree.
lane.
I would say IG is the 3rd best team in the world, but it's not. There's not a gap. There's not like a tier gap between 1, 2, and 3.
Like if we play full potential
3
G2
can beat
against
1.
full potential SKT, I'd say G2 wins. But if you played full
agree.
potential G2 against full potential IG, I'm actually scared for G2. And I know it's less
full
likely.
potential Super Saiyan the Shy.
And 𝘀cie𝗰𝗋𝗆
Pretty
playing like
terrifying.
he can't play, and Ning hitting his finals
what?
form. I mean,
Doing his 4,102 damage on 𝘁𝗁.
actually way less than I
Absolute
expected it to be, to be honest.
I
was surprised.
I watched the 𝘀𝘀 episode.
Yeah, same.
And that was a very good meme.
Yeah.
That was an interesting... But I know what you mean. I kind of see what you're talking about. They have some ridiculous superstars. I mean, you don't win a world championship being a bad team.
Yep. Well, let's go back to SKT G2, the big matchup. Before we talk about the matchups and who we think who will win and why, I wanted to ask you, do you think the old SKT narrative of them being the better best of 5 team, them stepping up when it really matters, is still there?
It's funny because I kind of want to break down what you said into 2 parts.
Yep.
I don't think they're very clearly the better best of 5 team. They're a good best of 5 team. I don't think best of 5s phase them, but I don't think they phase G2 either. I actually don't think it being a best of 5 in terms of nerves and being able to play a best of 5 really favours either team. In terms of stepping up where it counts, gotta say, SKT's got more experience with that than anyone else.
Yeah.
No one else has done it as many times as they've had to do it.
Well, it's a very different team, though.
It is. It's obviously different players. Fake is a constant, though. And I know your opinion on the narratives about Faker still being the unkillable Demon King. He's not anymore. He's not that player. He can't be that player for that many years. But, you know, Faker at full power is still terrifying. And I think he's got more experience doing that on the absolute higher stage than anyone else in League of Legends. which is scary. So I think I think the first half of what you said is a wash. I don't think it matters. I think G2 and SKT are both able to play best of fives. But I just think SKT, as an org, so their coaching staff, their support staff, and as players, just have more experience in the semis and finals of Worlds.
That's interesting. I actually don't think this whole narrative about the entirety of 𝘀cie𝗰𝗋𝗀𝗀 holds up anymore, because prior to 2018, everyone was like, okay, you can beat Korean teams maybe in a best of one setting, but never in best of fives. If we actually look at the best of five results for Korean teams, SKT's win was the first best of five victory in an international tournament since King's Zone 2018 at MSI in the semifinals against Flash Wolves. So they have lost 5 or 6 consecutive best of fives in international setting. It's not all SKT, obviously, but they lost one as well.
Yeah, I mean, I was more referring specifically to SKT.
Absolutely,
I think the narrative of 𝘀cie𝗰𝗋𝗀𝗀 being this ridiculously good, just nerves of steel on every single one of their players, on every single one of their teams. That's a dead narrative to me.
Yeah.
I think people need to stop parroting that.
Yeah,
but
I'm really not sure it's
SKT,
even there for
SKT. I think they're smart enough to. I mean, I'm more referring to being able to play out how you want to play a best of five. I think they know what they're doing.
Yeah, I like their drafting a lot this tournament.
Exactly. I mean, that's the big thing, right? That's the biggest thing with a best of five is drafting.
But I also like G2's drafting a lot. So
yeah,
draft was
I mean,
so interesting in both semifinals. I'm so hyped for draft.
Oh yeah, draft is. I think games are going to be won and lost in draft.
Draft on the first 50 minutes will decide every game in G2 against SKT.
Yep, I would 100% agree with that. I mean, what do you think are going to be for the second semifinal? What are the key picks?
Oh, the picks. There's so many interesting picks. 𝘀cie comes to mind.
I want to throw a quicker question. Does Pantheon get through?
No.
Ever?
No,
I don't think so. I really want him to.
Not sure. No, I don't think so. I think it.
I don't think so.
If G2 is up 2-0 and on red side, maybe. It's possible. That's the only
I feel like even
G2
doesn't let their foot off the neck of SKT for a second.
I think it's actually it's a valid strategy to leave it open. If you're 2-0 up, let's imagine they stomped 𝘀cie𝗰𝗋𝗀𝗀 in the first 2 games like they did to 𝘀one in the last game. Let's imagine the first 2 games looked like the last game against 𝘀one. So it looks like G2 has downloaded 𝘀cie𝗰𝗋𝗀𝗀.
Absolute dominance.
Yeah. I think it might be an option to do that. Just to throw them off. They come in into game 3, think, okay, we have to change something up, and then you leave open Pantheon, and they're like, oh god, what do they have up their sleeve? What is the counter pick? What did they prepare? They get.
Yeah.
I think it could actually happen, but only
maybe.
If G2
I think that is the one scenario.
I don't think SKT would do.
I think it's interesting because I actually think it's super unlikely that G2 goes up to it.
Yeah, it's very unlikely. G2 never looks good in the first game. They always mess up the first game.
You used the term, and it was very accurate, especially for that 𝘀one series of the download. That G2 exemplifies that. G2 plays games 4 and 5 like they did your coaching.
Yeah.
It's like G2 coached you because they know exactly what you're doing.
I don't think they've lost a game 4 in a series this year. Obviously, they have never lost a game 5 because they have not lost a series this year. But I don't think they've lost a game 4 either.
I can't think of a game 4 they would have lost.
No. I think game 4 has always looked pretty dominant. MSI game 4 was not that dominant against SKT. It was more a macro victory with the backdoor. But game 5 has always looked very dominant. I think by game 5, G2 has always completely understood what their enemies were doing in the early game and just completely countered them. Yeah,
I completely agree. And I think the fact that I just want to give a shout out to their coaching staff, because
Yeah.
I think a lot of that does come from the support staff. Obviously the players as well. Not going to shaft the players, but I think the fact that they do get so ridiculously dialed in to what the other team is going to do. Good on G2 support staff. It's important.
Absolutely.
Guys don't get the credit you deserve sometimes. But
We should get back to the
let's get
picks.
into yeah. Let's get into the meat and potatoes. I think I agree. Qiyana's really important, but she should be important in every series of League of Legends that's played.
Qiana is interesting as well, because both teams actually don't like to play her. Both teams ban her on blue side. So who's gonna drop the Qiyana ban first in this matchup? This is actually a super interesting game of chicken between the two teams.
Yeah, I think it suits G2's style more than SKT's though.
Yeah,
I think G2 loves the explosive nature of a Qiyana team fight.
I would hate to
Where it's
see
just over in a
Caps
second.
Qiana though, because I think Caps should pick for winning matchups against Faker. I think Caps right now is a little bit better than Faker, at least what they have both shown. So
Bold prediction there. I can see Reddit already frothing at the mouth.
I mean,
even though you're right.
I'm not sure why anyone would argue with that after seeing both quarterfinals.
Some people still, like, I genuinely saw someone on Reddit when someone said Faker's not the best mid laner in the world at the moment, which he isn't. He's still very, very good, but he's not the best at the moment. Someone said, talk to me when someone else has won as many worlds as he has. Doesn't matter.
Irrelevant. By the way, it could happen with Duke.
Completely irrelevant. Yeah.
No, that was the opinion on the 𝘀𝘀 as well. I was super surprised too. I think 𝘀𝑺_𝗀 was of the opinion that Faker is right now better than Caps. I was like, what? Why?
I think Caps is pretty clearly better than Faker.
Even if you look at the whole tournament, Caps has had an amazing tournament. And Faker has had a very good first week, but the second week in quarterfinals we're like, not the greatest.
Yeah, he didn't look great in the quarters. I mean, you could go to the LS opinion that the reason Caps roams so much is because he can't hold up to Korean mids. LS.
I mean,
that man, he's got some takes.
If Caps roams as much against Faker, then beats SKT, and then beats 𝘀cie in the final with roaming as well, I would just love to see Caps tweet something about his roaming against Korean mid laners.
He would as well.
Yeah, he would.
He would. Caps absolutely would. I mean, I gotta say, I love the players on G2. They've got such great personality. But yeah, back to the picks, which I keep managing to derail us from.
I mean, I'm guilty of that as well, to be honest.
There's so much.
Yeah.
I'm just so excited for this semi-final. I'm so excited for SKT versus G2. It's going to be so much fun. I think Ryze is going to be a ridiculously important pick.
Yeah.
Like, to the point where I don't even know if it should escape the bans.
I kind of expect it to be more of a ban for SKT, because I'm not sure SKT is comfortable with flexing Ryze.
Yeah, see, that's the problem. They're obviously happy to play it in the mid, but you've got to be able to flex him, I think.
Yeah, luckily Ryze is not that
limited.
easy to counterpick right now in mid lane.
Yeah,
but it's
Ryze kind of does everything.
Yeah, but Syndra is another super interesting pick, and even Syndra into Ryze is not that bad in lane. You can actually set up a lot of plays with jungle support as well, and then you can flex Syndra into bot lane as well. So Syndra is another interesting pick.
Ooh. We really want to say that there's going to be bot lane mages.
We have not seen 𝘀𝑺 on Syndra yet, so I still believe in 𝘀𝑺.
It's true. It's true. I've got to say I do believe him as well. Bot lane mages. That's the real 𝘀𝘀 award of this tournament.
I mean, even 𝘀𝘀 had a better win rate than 114, so...
You're not wrong. They've been pretty bad. But, you know, I think G2, if anyone's going to make it work, it'll be G2.
I like the 𝘀𝑠 pick. I thought he looked very good on the 𝘀𝑠, even though they lost the game, but that was not on him. The game would have been lost with Xayah as well, or with 𝘁cie. His jungle and support into too much in the early game. That was impossible to win from bot lane.
I mean, that's actually something I kind of want to discuss, and we don't know because obviously we're not SKT or G2. do you think there's going to be something cooked up to break the bot lane dichotomy?
Oh, I mean,
at the
𝘀cie
moment,
tried it,
obviously,
right? 𝘀cie really
there's
tried
only the...
to establish the Draven.
Yeah, but was that just because it was Splice?
They failed, though. No, they wanted to dominate the games, so G2 would ban Draven. But
Yeah,
they failed.
maybe.
They failed terribly. The Draven
Yeah,
didn't
but
look
like,
good.
do they pick it against G2?
No, I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think they were only picking that because, as you say, like, if they can just smash Splice with it, maybe G2 gets scared. Good strat, because you're probably going to beat Splice regardless. Didn't work. Didn't matter. But how do you break the dichotomy of 𝘀𝗃, 𝗁?
Yeah, interesting question.
Do you think these teams will have thought of something, or will they just say, whatever, we'll just play it? Because it's not like they can't play it. Like, 𝘀𝗀 is fantastic on 𝘀𝗃.
It's an interesting question. I think G2 will definitely have something prepared. I'm not sure they want to show it. I kind of
Saving
expect...
strats?
I'm not sure they want to play it, risk it. I think they prepared something, but
Right.
I'm not sure they want to risk playing it instead of playing standard, because I think they can just beat 𝘀cie on standard. I don't think they have to break anything.
Okay.
I think Syndra bot could actually be the answer, especially into 𝘁𝗃. I think Syndra bot into 𝘁𝗃 is with a very strong support matchup as well. I think if you go Syndra, let's say 𝘀𝑇ℎ, Syndra 𝘀𝑇ℎ is a very good 2v2 into maybe Nautilus. I don't think Leona is that great. Into Leona is that great.
Leona's sort of a... Yeah.
I think into Nautilus
𝘀𝑇ℎ
you could...
counters Leona.
Yeah, I think 𝘀𝑇ℎ Syndra into Nautilus 𝘁𝗃 could actually work.
Yep.
Even better if the
So
enemy
to
actually
put it
tries to go 𝘁𝑎listair 𝘁𝗃. I think 𝘁𝑎listair 𝘁𝗃 can be severely punished by Syndra anything.
Yeah. I think the one problem with that is I think Syndra can cop bans. I wouldn't be surprised to see a ban phase if 𝘀𝑇's on blue side, they ban 𝘀𝗃 Syndra.
Yeah,
And then something.
could do that.
Because then they first pick 𝘁𝗃, and what do you do if you're G2? Like, that's the problem with this bot lane dichotomy. What do you do then? Do you play Ezreal and just kind of hate yourself?
Maybe Lucian. I think with G2's playstyle from quarterfinals, Lucian is actually an okay pick. I know everyone hates Lucian.
I hate
But,
bot lane
I mean,
Lucian. I think it's
if you win the game by 10 minutes, Lucian is not that bad of a champion.
True, but is 𝘀𝑇 going to let you do that? 𝘀𝑇 are pretty tight. They run a tight ship.
That's fair.
I feel like they see the Lucian and they go, cool, we don't have to smash bot lane. Just go even. He falls off. He's useless. And we have a 𝘁𝗃. Doesn't matter.
That's true. That's true. Maybe something like Tristana or Sivir comes back into 𝘁𝗃. I think Sivir can definitely handshake lane into 𝘁𝗃.
Heimerdinger?
Heimerdinger is not a bad choice either.
Heimerdinger can, like, go Heimerdinger Pyke?
I'm not
Like, T2 loves Pyke.
Yeah, I'm not sure 𝘀𝗀 is that proficient on Heimerdinger. He's never played it before.
Yeah, but I feel like it might be a pocket pick.
Yeah.
And they might have scrimmed it. Again, we don't know. He hasn't really had need to play it, but I actually think Heimerdinger Pyke is.
I'd actually like to see them go for Tristana lane swap strategy into 𝘁𝗃 first pick.
Really? Ooh, that's interesting.
Dodge
Okay.
the 𝘁𝗃 lane as the Tristana, let her go to level 6, and then start laning level 6 𝘁𝗃 into level 6, level 6 Tristana into level 6 𝘁𝗃.
Yeah.
You have a little bit of a problem in the mid game with Tristana into 𝘁𝗃, because Tristana on 2 items is not great, and 𝘁𝗃 on 2 items is disgusting. So yeah, that's a little bit of a problem.
Is there a point in the game where 𝘁𝗃's not disgusting? I'd love to know.
Yeah, I guess
Maybe
on tier.
that first 15 seconds where you can't leave the summoning platform. She's pretty balanced.
Yeah. I think they want to probably respond with Yasuo Gragas. Now that I think about it again.
That would be great. I would love them to play some 𝘀𝘀𝗰𝗀𝗀 in the bot
Yeah,
lane. That'd be sick.
I think that would be their first try. If the enemy bans out all the bot lane options and secures the last available ADC, just go 𝘀𝘀𝗰𝗀𝗀. If that doesn't work, you're on blue side the next game, so you can secure the next game with your ADC choice. And the next time, maybe you try a mage or something. So, yeah, I think that's probably the approach they want to go for.
Yeah, I mean, the whole lock the bot lane thing potentially only works once anyway, because if you think they're doing it again, you can just ban the other ADC.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, if you see they ban 𝘀𝘀𝗰𝗀𝗀, you go, okay, we'll just ban 𝘁𝗀𝗀.
And also, if you actually win that game, what do the enemy do on the other side?
Huge. That's huge if you actually win that game.
Like, they can't do anything there on red side.
Yeah. So, I know there is a whole pile of more discussion we both want to have. I think this semi-final is potentially going to be one of the best semi-finals ever. Not necessarily just in terms of play, but just in terms of how fun it'll be as a Western fan. There have been obviously some sick semi-finals through history, but I really want G2 to win. But, predictions.
I haven't decided on my final
The cop-out is
score,
easy.
But
So the cop-out is easy. 3-2 G2 is the easy answer here.
I think it's going to be 3-1 G2.
Okay. I agree.
This is another matchup where I think overall there are more win conditions for G2. And I think all 4 games will be close, but G2 will, it's a little bit like the Damwon series. I actually think this will be very similar to the Damwon series. It's another Korean draft. It's another strong top side. Maybe not quite as strong as Damwon's top side, but a little bit of a stronger bot side. That said, I actually don't think SKT's bot lane in lane is that much better than Damwon's lane, bot lane. Out of lane they are much better, but in lane it's not that much of a difference. I think Caps against Faker is a bigger mismatch than Caps against Showmaker, but on the other side, hopefully for SKT's coaches will not put Faker on an unplayable matchup like Kayle into Yasuo. Holy, that felt so bad for Showmaker. Oh my god, that poor guy couldn't do anything.
That's not playable. Like, that's just completely unstoppable. I don't think SKT's coaches will make
No, I don't think so either.
I don't think Faker would let them.
Kayle is another interesting pick.
I think Kayle's overrated, personally.
Yeah.
I think she's had too high priority so far. She's not the scaling monster that everyone says she is. She's good, but Ryze is better if you want scaling. 𝘁𝗀𝗰𝗀𝗀's better.
I think Kayle is pickable, or even very strong, if you have a 𝘁𝗀𝗃 secured. I think if you can secure...
That's suicide bomb 𝘁𝗀𝗃.
If you can secure a decent Kayle matchup and have a 𝘁𝗀𝗃 on the bot lane, I think Kayle suddenly becomes very strong.
I agree with that.
I don't like to see her in the mid lane. I think roaming is too important for Kayle to be played mid lane. I know top lane she can be exploited a lot with ganks, but I like her top better.
Just imagine. I mean, I actually think bot lane she has potential in this series, depending on what else is going on in bot lane. But just imagine Kayle mid, Faker on Kayle mid against Caps. The man's not going to go to his lane. He shoves. Kale's going to take too long to reset the wave, and he's going to go top. It's going to be Damwon all over again, and there's nothing Kayle can do about that. He just walks away, and Kayle can't stop him.
Yeah, maybe Kayle can work in mid lane as a counter pick. Maybe into Syndra. She loses lane into Syndra, but Syndra doesn't roam much, right? So Kayle can at least farm up, kind of go even in CS or go down 15 CS by 10 minutes, and then outscale the Syndra. So that's a possibility.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, how disappointed would you be if the first game G2 is on red side and they play Garen Yuumi?
I might start supporting 𝘁𝗃.
Oh god.
It'd be funny. Don't get me wrong. It would be very, very funny. Especially because I've still got that meme saved of the big guy in the space marine armor. But it's 𝘀𝑺's face, and he's looking down. He's like, "Oh, who's this cute little kitty?"
I don't think it'll happen.
Which is, I don't think so either. I mean, I think threatening it is smart, but I think SKT's already shown their counter.
Yeah.
They just pick KO.
And I don't think G2 wants to put 𝘀𝑺 on a useless champion. 𝘀𝑺 has had an amazing tournament. They need their captain to perform this series as well.
Let 𝘀𝑺 play Yuumi.
Well, maybe.
Let 𝘀𝑺 pick the Yuumi.
I mean, we saw once how 𝘀𝑺 tried to play Pyke. That was that was not great.
I think there was a few different memes behind that Pyke pick. But yeah, I hate to cut us short, but we did have to have a shorter episode because I have to go pick things up. So final predictions, I think we both agree G2 3-1.
Yep.
Yep, I think I agree with that, but it could easily be a 3-2. I just want to hedge my bets and say that. It's going to be a banger. I absolutely can't wait. G2 IG final confirmed. Heard it here first.
I'm not sure if there's really heard it here first. This is correct. with the date of our publishing.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, because I've got to get this uploaded. But yeah, anyway, if you don't have anything else to say about these matchups, we can sign off. As always, I've been EveryWei. With me was Yulwei. Hopefully he taught you something and you can ignore most of what I said.
Don't do that. Every day is funny.
Sorry for the shortened format today, just how things worked out. We'll be back after the semi-finals, hopefully a bit earlier in the week, to get hyped for the final. Anyway, go G2.
Go G2.
Alright, see you guys.